On this planet, there are many complex countries, but few as intense and contradictory as Colombia. It is a land full of pleasures and wonders, where many say you find some of the most beautiful women in Latin America, at the same time a territory of jungles, deserts, snow, and Caribbean beaches that can all be crossed in a single day of travel, starting in the hot dunes of La Guajira, touching the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, walking through the dense jungle of Torona, and ending on the snowy peaks of the Sierra Nevada to Santa Marta. You feel that Colombia is not just a country, it is a collection of worlds packed together. Located in the northwest of South America, Colombia is bordered by the Caribbean Sea, Pacific Ocean, Venezuela, Brazil, Ecuador, and Peru. Its geography explains why it is the second most biodiverse country on Earth after Brazil, with a territory 7 times smaller. Looking at the sky is enough to understand it. Colombia is the country with the greatest bird diversity on the planet, and also home to emblematic animals such as the jaguar and the red macaw. In rivers like Cano Cristales, known as the River of Five Colors, an aquatic plant paints the water in shades of red, yellow, green, and blue, as if someone had poured a liquid rainbow into the rocks. In other regions, rivers disappear underground and reappear kilometers away, giving the sensation that the landscape breathes and moves. More than 50 million people live in this territory before the arrival of Europeans. Peoples like the Muisca, Tairona, Quimbe, and Zenu already had advanced agriculture, gold work, and complex social structures. With the Spanish conquest came the language, the Catholic religion, and the exploitation of gold and other resources. Cities like Cartagena, Bogota, and Popayan still preserve churches, plazas, and mansions from that era, and show how deep the colonial mark is in the identity of the country. Centuries later, in an old salt mine in Zipaquirá, that religious and artistic spirit would take shape in one of the most unusual temples in the world, the Salt Cathedral. Entirely carved in salt rock, it is an underground sanctuary of tunnels, lights, and sculptures where indigenous symbolism and Catholic faith meet in a surreal atmosphere. Even the name of the country tells a story apart. Colombia was adopted in 1819 during the Independence Wars to honor Christopher Columbus, whose voyages opened the route to this continent. Even though he never stepped on present-day Colombian soil, the continent itself did not take his name, but that of Amerigo Vespucci, the navigator who understood that these lands were not Asia, but a completely new continent. So America honors Vespucci, and this beautiful country keeps the name of Columbus, a reminder of how history and geography rarely follow a simple script. The triple mix of indigenous, European, and African blood create a population with enormous physical and cultural diversity. It is one of the reasons why Colombians, and especially Colombian women, are considered among the most attractive in the region. Faces combine very different features. Skin tones go from very light to very dark, and hair and eyes appear in endless variations. But beauty here is also attitude. Colombians are known for their joy, warmth, and presence. In coastal cities like Cartagena, Barranquilla, or Santa Marta, the tropical climate invites light, colorful clothing, and life flows to the rhythm of music in the streets. Icons like Shakira or Sofia Vergara are only the most visible examples of a country where many travelers repeat the same phrase. In Colombia, beauty is not only seen, it is felt. Far from the big cities, in the dense Amazon jungle of southern Colombia, the feeling is that time moves differently. There are live communities that for centuries had almost no contact with the outside world and still keep ways of life that surprise any visitor. The Nucac, for example, are a nomadic people from the region of Guaviare. They move according to the seasons, live in temporary palm shelters, hunt with blowpipes, and gather fruits from the forest. Their worldview sees a spirit and a purpose in every tree, river, and animal, and marriage traditionally took place inside the same lineage as a way to preserve the identity and cohesion of the group. Equally fascinating are peoples such as the Huitoto, who live between the Putumayo and Caqueta rivers. For them, the human body is an extension of the earth. So many rituals are carried out with minimal clothing or through ritual nudity, as a symbol of purity and communion with nature. Men and women participate together in chants and dances that celebrate fertility and balance between the human and the divine. In some clans, it is still accepted that certain leaders may have several wives, something linked more to responsibility and hierarchy than to romantic ideas. in a system where cooperation and mutual respect are essential to survive in such a demanding environment. Around these communities, live animals that feed both admiration and fear. The green anaconda, which can exceed 10 meters in length and weigh hundreds of kilos, is a super predator of rivers and lagoons capable of catching giant fish, capybaras, and even jaguars or Orinoco caimans. The power of the anaconda is so great that many see it not just as an animal, but as a guardian of the waters, a presence that demands respect. Yet perhaps the creature that inspires the most fear is much smaller. It is the kangaroo, a tiny fish that inhabits Amazonian rivers. Its fame comes from its attraction to urea in urine, and from stories that it can enter the human urethra when someone urinates directly in the water. Cases are extremely rare, but the combination of pain, the difficulty of removing the fish, and the legends told for generations has created a near legendary fear around it. Locals often warn visitors not to urinate in the river and to protect themselves while bathing. In this context, it becomes clear why for many Amazonian peoples a jungle is not just a scenery, but a living temple full of visible and invisible dangers. Many of these communities speak of Pachamama or Mother Jungle, a spirit that represents the land, the forest, and everything that lives there. According to their stories, this being can protect, punish, or confuse those who do not respect the laws of the jungle. One of the most commented episodes in recent years was the case of a small plane that crashed in the Colombian Amazon with several children on board. Search teams took days to find them, and some locals said that Mother Jungle had hidden them, protecting them from a greater danger, whether you believe it or not. Stories like this show how strong the spiritual relationship with nature is. For the people who grow up here, every sound, path, and river carries a meaning. For visitors, it is easy to feel that the immensity of the forest is more than an ecosystem. It is a living presence full of secrets, fears, and a kind of ancient magic. From this same soil came one of the greatest pleasures humanity has adopted, cacao, long before chocolate became the sweet treat we know today. Its beans were considered a gift from the gods and even used as currency. A handful of cacao could be worth a cloak, a tool, or even a slave. When the Spanish took it to Europe, the thick and bitter drink that indigenous peoples prepared with spices and honey fascinated the nobility. What many still ignore is that Colombian cacao, especially from regions like Santander and Arauca, is considered among the finest in the world, with floral notes and touches of nuts that turn it into gourmet chocolate prized by master chocolatiers. Alongside cacao stands the other great symbol of Colombian flavor, coffee. Thanks to the altitude of the Andes, mild climate, and mineral-rich soils, Colombia has become one of the most respected producers of Arabica coffee on the planet. In the coffee axis of Caldas, Quindio, and Risaralda, thousands of families cultivate small farms, harvest the beans by hand, and care for each part of the process. The cultural coffee landscape has been declared World Heritage by UNESCO, and drinking a good Colombian coffee is often described as tasting in a cup the essence of the country: work, tradition, and patience. The same mixture of beliefs that created this culture also feeds more mysterious corners. In Bogota, in the historic neighborhood of La Candelaria, markets exist where herbs, amulets, and potions are sold for all kinds of purposes, from attracting love and money to seeking protection or energy. Between colorful bottles, dried plants, and carved figures, smells of incense, spices, and street food like arepas or tamales mix in the air. For some visitors, it is a curious market. For others, a place where the border between the spiritual and the everyday seems very thin. Even more disturbing is a place that many call one of the most sinister hotels in the world, the old hotel at Salto del Tequendama. Built next to a waterfall of more than 150 meters in Cundinamarca, it was once a luxury refuge for travelers who wanted to enjoy the breathtaking view of the drop and surrounding landscape. Over the years, stories of tragedies and suicides at the site multiplied. Eventually, the hotel closed and the abandoned building, wrapped in fog and humidity, was left standing like a ghostly figure at the edge of the abyss. Visitors speak of strange sounds, shadows, and an unsettling atmosphere, and the place has become a symbol of how beauty and darkness often coexist in Colombia. For those who want to discover the country in person, arriving is simpler than it may seem. From the Americas, there are direct flights to Bogota, Medellin, Cali, and Cartagena from various countries. From Europe, The most common connections pass through cities like Madrid, Amsterdam, or Frankfurt and arrive at El Dorado International Airport in Bogota. Inside Colombia, a network of national flights and intercity buses links the main cities and popular regions. To reach more remote areas such as the Amazon, the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, or La Guajira, it is common to combine road travel with small local flights and guided tours. In general, the cost for visitors is attractive, with meals, local transport, and modest accommodation at accessible prices compared to many other destinations. There are organized tours to places like Cano Cristales, the Salt Cathedral, or indigenous communities, which usually include transport, lodging, and local guides to make logistics easier. At the same time, it is important to remember that some areas still require caution. As in any country, it is wise to inform yourself, listen to local advice, avoid risky zones, and prefer moving during the day and with trusted guides. With its mix of jungle and snow, cacao and coffee, legend tribes, haunted hotels, carnivals, and cities, Colombia is a country that almost never leaves anyone indifferent. It is a place where beauty can be overwhelming. Danger is real and culture is intense. For many travelers, visiting Colombia is not just another trip on a map, but an experience that changes the way they see nature, history, and the power of human diversity. If this journey through Colombia sparked your curiosity, imagine how much more is still hidden around the world. If you enjoy discovering cultures, mysteries, secret traditions, and the truths most people never tell about other countries, this is where your exploration continues. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us which place you want to uncover next. Every subscription and every comment helps this adventure reach further.